Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Jai Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Girdhari Radha Girdhari Radhe. Jaya Radha Girdhari Radha Girdhari Radhe. Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jam Vishpad Paramahamsa Pravijikacharya Sotara Sata Shishi Mad A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada ki. ISKCON founder Acharya Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki. Jam Vishpad Paramahamsa Pravijikacharya Sotara Sata Shishi Mad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada ki. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki. Namacharya Shil Haridas Thakur ki. Jai Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Das Raghunath Sad Goswami Papagan ki. Prem Sikaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopukapinath Shamakun Radhakun Gir Govardhan ki. Nu Govardhan Dham ki. Navadvip Mayapur Dham ki. Vrindavan Dham ke, Jagannath Puri Dham ke, Shri Prahlad Maharaj and Shingadev Bhagavan ke, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ke, Samaveda Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ke, Gaur Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shishi Guru. Gauranga. Glories to Srila Prabhupada. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Pastaya Bhutale, Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namane, Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharne, Nivishesha Shunyavadi Pasyachadistarne. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We're getting to hear from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4. Chapter 30, the activities of the Prachetas, text number 22. You have your phones? Prachetasa uchu Namo Namaha Klesha Vinashanaya Namo Namaha Klesha Vinashanaya Nirupito Dara Gunavayaya Nirupito Dhara Ganavayaya Mano Vacho Vega Paro Javaya Mano Vacho Vega Paro Javaya Sarvaksha Margai Agatadane Namaha Sarvaksha Margai Agatadane Namaha Prachetasa Uchu Namo Namaha Klesha Vinashanaya Nirupito Dhara Ganavahaya Manovacho Vega Parojavaya Sarvakshamagar Agatad Ne Namaha Prachetas Sauchu Namo Namaha Klesha Vinashanaya Nirupito Dhara Ganavayaya Manovacho Vega Parojaya Sarvakshamagar Agatadane Namaha Prachetas Uchu Namo Namah Klesha Vinashanaya Nirupito Dhara Ganavahaya Manovacha Vega Parojaya Sarvakshamagar Agatadane Namaha Prachetas Uchu Namo Namah Klesha Vinashanaya Nirupito Dhara Ganavayaya Manovacho Vega Parojaya Sarvakshamagar Agatadane Namaha Pachetasa Uchu Rupito Dhara Vinavaya Manovacho Vega Parojaraya Sarvakshamagar Agatadane Namaha Prachetasa Uchu. The Prachetas said, Namaha obeisances, Namaha obeisances, Klesha, material distress, Vinashanaya, unto one who destroys, Nirupita, settled, Udara, magnanimous, Guna, qualities, Avayaya, whose name, Manaha, of the mind, Vachaha, of speech, Vega, the speed, Para, before, Javaya, whose speed, Sarva Aksha, of all material senses, Marga, by the paths, Agata, not perceivable, Advane, whose course, Namaha, we offer our respects. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. The Prachetas spoke as follows. So this is their first words to the Supreme Lord who has granted them His darshan. And they spoke as follows. Dear Lord, you relieve all kinds of material distress. Your magnanimous, transcendental qualities and holy name are all auspicious. This conclusion is already settled. You can go faster than the speed of mind and words. You cannot be perceived by material senses. We therefore offer you respectful obeisances again and again. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The word nirupita, meaning concluded, is very significant in this verse. No one has to conduct research work to find God or make progress in spiritual knowledge. Everything is conclusively there in the Vedas. Therefore the Lord says in Bhagavad Gita 15:15, Vedaishya sarvara ham eva vedya. Understanding the Supreme Personality of Godhead through the process of the Vedas is perfect and conclusive. The Vedas state, Ata Sri Krishna Namadi Nabhaved Gramyam Indriyai. The transcendental names, forms, qualities, paraphernalia, and pastimes of the Lord cannot be understood by our blunt material senses. Sevanmukha jivadau swayameva spratyadaha. When a devotee engages his senses favorably in devotional service, the Lord, through his causeless mercy, reveals himself to the devotee. This is the conclusive Vedic process. The Vedas also indicate that simply by chanting the holy names of the Lord, one can without a doubt become spiritually advanced. We cannot approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead by the speed of mind or words, but if we stick to devotional service, we can easily and quickly approach him. In other words, the Supreme Lord is attracted by devotional service, and he can approach us more swiftly than we can approach him with our mental speculation. The Lord has stated that he's beyond the range of mental speculation and the speed of thought. He can be approached easily by his causeless mercy. Thus only by his causeless mercy can he be attained. Other methods will not be effective. Could we please pray together? Om Jnana-timirandasya Gnananjana Salakaya Chakshur-militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadandikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shirta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavanishari Vrishabhanu Sutta Devi Panamami Hari Priye Vanchakopatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhyevacha Patidhanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivas Adi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So I hope you Prabhus will bear with me this morning. You're usually very tolerant and kind, but today I'm feeling a little emotional. My Prabhu, it turns out, his situation is declining, and he's not comfortable. I'm speaking about Pankajangri Prabhu. And he's not comfortable with the breathing of the oxygen. And they've had that stuck in his nose, and he's needed their help for I don't know how long now. And he's been in the ICU in Calcutta. And that coupled with something that he shared, somebody asked him, do you have any realizations? And he said that I used to think that this body was meant for sense gratification, material pleasure. But now I understand that the Srimad Bhagavatam is correct. So he's much more advanced than I am. And some devotees would think that's his humility and kindness in sharing such realizations with us. But I had one experience one time with Jananivas Prabhu, where it was just me and him. And he asked me to pray for him, that the envy in his heart could be removed. And being a neophyte devotee, looking up to my Prabhu, I don't see any envy. But I'm not him. I'm not in his heart. And those who are advanced, they think of their shortcomings. And they see deficiencies, even when there might not be any. That's the nature of the humility that Vijay Prabhu has shared with us, I think, in the last couple of classes that he's given. It's an intrinsic part of devotional service, which Krishna, in the Vedas and the Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita reveals, is the only way by which we can attain him, the only way in which we can understand him, the only way in which he'll be inclined to reveal himself to us. So I take the comment seriously. My Prabhus have led a charmed life in devotional service. Really a charmed life. It's a rough gig when everybody wants to invite you to go out to Prasadam, and everybody wants to give you gifts, and everyone gives you the service and opportunity to share Krishna Katha with them. And they get to worship the Lord directly, worship the Lord in his Archa Vigraha. The incarnation of the Lord is the deities. It's been a wonderful life. And, there comes a point when the body isn't worthy. It's not able to render any more service. And I can see how a devotee at that time could become tired. I don't need it anymore. I don't want it anymore. I've given up the whatever shred of thought there might have been that this body's nice, this life is nice. And so anyway, I take it seriously. And of course that leads me to realize one of my bucket list desires may not be fulfilled. I'd always prayed and wanted to be with my Prabhus when they gloriously left behind their body and went back to Godhead. And part of the emotionality is that they say, looking at my chart for what it's worth, that I'll live a long and healthy life. Doesn't sound bad, does it? Hare Krishna. But the more you see your Prabhus in front of the line, Hare Krishna, being taken by Srila Prabhupada to eternally serve the Lord. I'm so happy for him. But once again, we taste the bittersweet emotions of separation. And we all have to go through it. Speaking for myself, my heart is dirty, it's steel framed. And Krishna has to blast it again and again. Out of mercy, causeless mercy and love, to help me realize that I want nothing more than to surrender to my spiritual master and serve him to the best of my ability, and at some point maybe be recognized that, okay, you can come back. So this is the message of the Vedas. Life is serious. Don't think it won't happen to you, Srila Prabhupada says. This body is designed to grow old. It's designed to suffer. Doesn't matter what flavor of disease it is this year, this month, next year, etc., etc. Suffering is guaranteed. I saw a great t-shirt yesterday. It said, "Fear is not a virtue." I'm actually tempted to buy it. $28. Because it's something that I want to stand firm on. Fear is not a virtue. Fear has nothing to do with Krishna consciousness. My Prabhu, he's not afraid. He told his brother, don't worry. Lord Nrsingadev has 8 hands with sharp nails. He can so easily protect me as he wishes. Or not. And leaving this body, it's just a matter of time. Hours, days, weeks, years, who knows? No guarantee for anybody. But it is guaranteed you'll draw a last breath at some point, and you'll leave behind a useless body, and hopefully by the grace of the Lord, you'll leave behind the useless subtle body that was just a repository, a hard drive for so many stupid, envious, material desires since time immemorial that had become purified and burned up by the service to Guru and Vaishnavas, so that it can be left behind also. And simply, we, the living entity, the part and parcel of the Lord, can be taken to the shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord in his abode, surrounded by his friends and family, reunited with our ISKCON family in Gokula Vrindavan. What a glorious day that'll be. What a glorious day. Something to look forward to, not to be afraid, not to hide from, not to stick our head in the sand and not want to think about it. It's coming. It's like the rent. What is the day? April 29th. Well, in a couple of days, I got to choke up the rent. Otherwise, I'm not allowed to stay in the apartment. Get out. So there'll come a time when Krishna, in the form of time, will say, get out. And according to our desire, and according to how we utilized our time in this life, that will have a great influence on the Lord in his deciding whether or not we can come back to him or not. The spiritual master will certainly have something to say in the matter. We're under his charge. We have no hope. We actually have no realized connection with the Lord without the transparent via medium of the spiritual master reawakening, helping us to snap out of the ignorance of amnesia of our eternal relationship with the Lord. But he will certainly play a part. So we don't, in this, I was going to pose a question, who'd like to see Krishna? I'd really like to see Krishna. Anyone who has even seen Krishna for half a moment, they can think of nothing other than wanting to see Krishna again. It's the perfection of the eyes, nose, ears, tongue, sense of touch. All the senses will, you hear it so often when the devotees have darshan of the Lord, that simultaneously every sense rushes to the transcendental form of the Lord, wanting to serve. And when not able to, then simply embracing the Lord within their heart, embracing their lotus feet, etc. The lotus feet of the Lord. Certainly that desire had manifest within the hearts of the Prachetas, because for 10,000 years they did nothing but meditate upon the prayer given to them by their spiritual master, Lord Shiva. And if you read the Rudra Gita, you'll hear beautiful descriptions of the beauty of the Lord. His feet, his features, his decorations, his neck, his smile, his eyes, his earrings, his helmets, his Kostuba gem, the Srivatsa hairs on his chest, etc., etc., etc. Complexion like a darkish blue rain cloud that glistens like morning dew on the grass when the sun shines on it. I mean, these things just give us a little hint. And meditating like that for 10,000 years, you know that they had a desire to have his darshan. Last sentence of yesterday's purport said, when the Prachetas saw the Supreme Lord personally present, their unhappiness vanished. They weren't unhappy for any personal, material reason. They were focused on the instructions and the execution of those instructions of their spiritual master and father. But they had a desire, a hankering within the heart, not even really expressed. You don't have to express your desires to the Lord. It's not that He's, on vacation. It's not that He is hard of hearing. It's not that He doesn't know what we want. He knows exactly what we want. And they felt the separation of the Lord in their service to the Lord, and their unhappiness was vanished, it vanquished by the causeless mercy and the benediction of the Lord revealing Himself to them. So for those of us on these lower levels of bhakti, first of all, we definitely know you can't mentally speculate and capture the Lord. The Lord is beyond the realm of the mind. He's infinite, and we're such tiny, infinitesimal beings. And whatever subtle body covers this soul of ours, it is so insignificant in comparison to the Lord. It doesn't have it's like an overwhelming, you plug some, how would you say? There are instances where you can plug something into the electricity and it overwhelms the appliance. Like I guess you could say here in America we have alternating current. But in India you have direct current. There's no pauses in the transmission of it over the lines. Plug an AC into the DC and it's not uncommon. It overloads it. So Prabhupada gives an example. You can't put an elephant in a little tiny tea saucer that a teacup rests on. It's impossible. Then you got the thing where the Lord is saying, let's quote the Ishopanishad, verse 4, where He says, although fixed in His abode, the personality of Godhead is swifter than the mind and can overcome all others running. Powerful demigods cannot approach Him. 3 lines of the verse deal with that. The Lord is infinitely faster than anyone else. There's that nice Leela. Was it Sridham? He was left behind. He didn't get the memo. Hey, we're going down to Kali Yuga. Kanai Balai, they're going to be Gornitai. We're all going to assist them in the Sankirtan movement. They were playing hide and seek. He was hiding in a cave and no one gave him the word. He's sitting there waiting. What's the deal? It's sure taking a long time. They realize, oh my God, we didn't get Sridham. Whoops. So Balaram went back. Nitai went back. Nityananda Ram. to Goloka. He said, hey, Sridham, come on. Game's over. We've gone down to Earth, Kali Yuga. Krishna's appeared as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He goes, who are you? I'm Balaram. What are you talking about? This is a real time. It really dates me. But when I was a kid, they had a cartoon called The Jetsons. Did you ever see it? Look at the shrimp. Look at the shrimp. There's a line they had for this one character. Little person. Well, Kali Yuga height compared to Dwapara Yuga height, there's no comparison. Our height in the spiritual world, I mean, tiny. Dwarfs in Kali Yuga. Everything shrunk. Down. He said, you're not Balaram. Yeah, I am. I've just incarnated with Krishna to assist him. Nah. He said, no, seriously. You have to prove it. I know what. The only person who is faster than me is Balaram. Let's have a race, and if you can catch me, you can always catch me within 5 steps. And if you can do that, then I know that you're my friend. You're Balaram. So they zit, and within 5 paces, Balaram caught him. Nityananda caught him. So Krishna, Balaram, they're faster than all of us. It's like, the man, what was that guy's name? Fisher used to be a chess expert, undefeated, what have you. Finally, he was defeated. His first defeat was by a computer, artificial intelligence. You can't compete with artificial intelligence. It's been programmed. So it's just a dim reflection of Krishna. There's no comparison. You can't capture him by the strength of your mind or intelligence. Pantastikoti satavatsara sampragamyo vayuratapi manaso munipungavanam sopyasti yat prapapatin sinyavachintya tatve govindamadi purusham tamaham vajami. Worship Govinda, the primeval Lord. I'm going to go to the pertinent point. Only the tip of the toe of whose lotus feet is approached by the Gyanis who try to find out the non-differentiated Brahman by the process of elimination of the mundane extending over thousands of millions of years. So is that the same verse as Lord Brahma saying that the chariot of the mind can travel as the speed at light, the speed of mind, and still you'll not be able to? Is that a different verse? Is that from Bhagavatam? You can count all the atoms in the universe. You can count all the sands in the beaches of the planets. But no matter how intelligent you are, and Lord Brahma can conceptualize and see the entire universe as if it's a walnut in the palm of his hand, he said, still I can't understand anything about Krishna. So I think hopefully I've established sufficiently that it's impossible to get Krishna by your own endeavor. It's not an ascending process, which is basically what all the other subsidiary processes below Bhakti are. Karma, Jnana, Yoga. The strength of your endeavor. But Bhakti, we're begging for the mercy to descend. That unlimited, inconceivable Lord who is beyond the universe, who's not even within the realm of the universe of which the mind and intelligence is limited, is captured by the illusory energy. He can descend and he can reveal himself when he chooses. That's the only way you get the darshan of Krishna. And so it's a nice thought, but it's to be balanced in Krishna consciousness, just like Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He didn't like this Jagannatha Swami Nayana Patagami Bhava to me. O Lord of the universe, kindly be visible unto me. He didn't put much stock in wanting Krishna to come and appear before him. He didn't encourage others to think like that. He said, act in such a way. And of course, this message is just repeated by our spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada. Act in such a way that Krishna will want to see you. That's the whole process of unalloyed, favorable, pure devotional service to Krishna. And I want to give some encouragement, because it may seem like it takes so long, my Lord, to see you. I know you're everywhere, to the left and to the right, above and below me. There's no place that Krishna's not in, and for heaven's sake, he's right within our heart. But still, we don't see. We don't see. You cannot see with the rubber eyeballs, with mundane senses, the transcendental Lord. That was the Atasri Krishna Namadi verse quoted. Impossible. Matter doesn't connect with spirit. Matter cannot control spirit, cannot see spirit. But Krishna is so very kind. He descends in such a way that we can see him. He appears as the deities. And for those who are fortunate and assume the proper devotional moods, the Lord will reciprocally reveal more and more of himself. He will confirm to you that he is your worshipable Lord, your best friend, the one providing for you, the one protecting you, the one who is mercifully accepting service from you under the guidance of your spiritual master. So, to give a nice quote, this is from Pankajanga. He said, I once asked Jayapataka Swami Maharaj, what is Krishna consciousness all about? Is it about becoming purified? He said, no! Krishna consciousness is all about serving Krishna. Whatever stage you're in, pure or not pure, you serve Krishna. Don't wait till you become pure. And Pankajangri put his own words, that was a very important instruction for me. It saved me a lot of times. So sometimes devotees, we talk about self-purification and the need to aspire and to endeavor to the best of our ability to surrender more, to become more purified, to advance in Krishna consciousness. But the main emphasis, bottom line, is serve Krishna. Good times or bad, easily or through difficulty, just keep serving under the guidance of Guru and Vaishnavas. That's the secret. And the purification, the pleasure earned from the spiritual master is the secret of success. We don't have to worry about going back home to Godhead. We don't have to worry about whether or not Krishna is going to reveal himself to us. We simply have to worry about following the instructions of the spiritual master. If we will do our best to surrender to and follow those instructions, and the potency of purity, of purification is there. Everything will come as a result by the mercy of Guru and Krishna. So, the deity, in relationship to the deities, I can remember when I first joined, moved into the temple, the first 7 mornings, greeting the deities, Govindam prayers praying, I knew this was Krishna. This is God. This is who I was wanting to be reunited with, to go back home to. And for 7 days, 7 greetings of the deities, I cried like a baby. My heart was melting with the causeless mercy of Radha, Kalachandji, presenting themselves to us, giving us their darshan. And it's like that sometimes in the beginning when you haven't racked up so many offenses in your service. You get some mercy. And then as time goes on in different ways in which you please the Lord, you please the spiritual master, then they reveal themselves in different ways. It only encourages us more and more and more. And an important thing to remember when we say seeing the deities, I've quoted it before, but I love the pastime where Bhakti Siddhanta was in the Kirtan Mandap of Gandharvika Giridhari, Gauranga Mahaprabhu, and the disciple realized he wasn't wearing his glasses. He couldn't see the deities. He didn't have his glasses. He said, Guru Maharaj, I'll run up and get your glasses for you. He said, I don't need glasses. I'm not here to see the Lord. I'm here for the Lord to see me. We are presenting ourselves before the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And we should do so in proper consciousness. And the opportunity to engage in the services of hearing, chanting, remembering, dancing, etc., in their presence should be done so very enthusiastically, with the confidence, with the determination that this is all it takes, by simply trying to serve them according to the instructions of my Guru Maharaj. They can reveal. Like Srila Prabhupada, the other pastime I've told, but he's basically at the gate of the temple, the door of the temple, and the deities are here, and he said, what's in Krishna's eyes? What's in Krishna's eye? Nothing, Srila Prabhupada. No, what's in his eye? Somebody goes up close to the deity. You wouldn't even see it standing behind the iron gate here. But getting close to the deity, a little speck of sandalwood pulp had gotten in his eyes. You know how they decorate the cheeks of the Lord? The forehead of the Lord. A little speck of sandalwood pulp had gotten in his eyes. So this is showing us that you aren't seeing, the pure devotees don't see who we are seeing. They don't see what we're seeing. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Radha Giridhari and his consort, all the glories of Krishna are their glories. They're not of this world, they're transcendental, they're omnipotent, they're omniscient, all energies at their beck and call. They're simply enjoying transcendental, loving mellows between themselves and with their devotees who approach them. So time and space, it has no restriction for the pure devotees in darshan of the deities. For such devotees, the deities will talk. The deities will make requests. The deities will chastise sometimes. Be a little careful, you know. Could you tell the Bajari, he keeps sticking us with the pen. You know, telling him to be a little more careful when dressing us, etc., etc. This is Krishna, and we should treat the deities accordingly with our best endeavors. And you can't help but you can't let it go by without saying that when we talk about appreciating Krishna, seeing Krishna in the deities by their mercy, as the deities by their mercy, that to be able to come to some level of appreciation and realization, you have to appreciate, respect, and serve the devotees of Krishna. As long as we don't hold in the highest esteem the devotees, the aspiring devotees of Krishna, we simply keep the shackles on that will not allow us to grow, to receive the mercy. We're simply an insignificant servant of the servant, the servant, the servants. And those who are most advanced, when they make a list of the names of the devotees, they put their own name at the end, last. Otherwise, the service offered to the deity in Kanishta mentality, not appreciating the devotees, it's like offering ashes unto a sacrificial fire. Useless. We say useless from the absolute as standard. In other words, you're holding yourself back. So serve the devotees as if, this is the lifeline to getting the mercy of Guru and Krishna, it will serve us well. It will serve us very well. And I think that on that note, I will stop and ask, are there any questions or comments? I have a question for you after yours or what have you. Thank you. Did I touch upon Nirupata? That it's concluded, it is settled. Did I throw that in the class? Prabhupada says it's very significant. I didn't, did I? Very remiss of me. Forgive me, please. That's how he starts out the purport. Shastra is everything. Krishna, you know how Krishna is so kind to his devotees and he arranges everything for the benefit of their devotees? There's one line in the purport that says, Krishna is able to because he uses his brain to think how to. That's a pretty important line. Krishna uses his intelligence how to serve the devotees, how to benefit the devotees. So we should try and follow his example. Use your intelligence. How can you please the devotees? Good practice. And then coming to the back to the deities. So this is the Shastra is everything. Krishna the Vedas come from his breathing. Jiva Goswami states Srimad Bhagavatam is the perfection, the highest evidence of the supremacy of God and the science of the absolute truth, which is the cream de la cream of the Vedas. But in every syllable, in every scripture, directly or indirectly, the glories of the Lord are extolled, and those who have the good fortune, the mercy of Guru and Krishna, they can see, they can understand and apply. So that was an important point. And one last thing I'd like to say, quoting my Prabhu one more time, Jananivas Prabhu. They just had a fire in the Calcutta temple. Radha Govinda, Gauranga, they had a fire in the dressing where they store the dresses of the deity, and backup room and a couple other side rooms. Fire. And the word was given to Jananivas, and he said, well, were the deities harmed? And they said, no, they weren't harmed at all. And they're being worshipped now in Srila Prabhupada's room there in Calcutta. If you've been there, you know how the layout. And they've dressed him in simple Bengali attire, and they showed him a picture. This is what the deities, they look like this morning after being worshipped. He said, oh, they look very happy. He said, they must have been engaged in a pastime like swallowing the forest fire. My God! I cannot tell you how many times Jananivas has just totally caused my mind to explode. The last thought that I could have conceived of at my level of devotion is that was a pastime of pleasure for the Lord. This is understanding Krishna. Not a statue, not a representation of, but Krishna. So these are the great souls that we seek the association of. Sometimes Krishna gives, sometimes he doesn't. Sometimes he takes away. But we're all trying to serve Krishna together under the shelter of the Lord, of the spiritual master, rather. And that's transcendental by their grace. We're all packed up together. No separation. That's the reality. And we just pray to support each other. best we can, offer and accept the help that is within. So any other last chance? Tapas, any questions or comments?
Hare Krishna, Dhanavad Pranam. Prabhu, I see there are 15 people watching, but I don't see any questions here in the YouTube.
Thank you for your attendance, Prabhus. Thank you for your patience and your tolerating my foolishness. Srila Prabhupada ke, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ke, Samaveda Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ke.